Hi guys, welcome back to the Disgustingly Resilient podcast.
Will, I made a
got
boo-boo.
three of us. What's that, sorry?
I forgot to turn the cameras on, Will. Give me 2 seconds. They can hear you. I just fucked up the cameras. So you keep talking, mister, and I'll figure out.
There we go. We'll do a take two in a second there, guys. You ever professionals as we are.
Of course.
So,
always the most professional.
So, yeah. So you go. Now
there
you
we
can
go.
see us. There you go. Get my nurgling out. He can, emotional support nurgling. Yeah, so welcome back to the Disgusting Resilient podcast. We do now have all three of us here. Dave has also entered the room, though without the cameras on, people couldn't see that.
It was tactical, Will. Tactical.
That's what it was, yeah.
Tactical, technical difficulties.
So, yeah, got a jam-packed episode for you tonight, but before we break into the various topics and discussion points, I go, Dave, how are you doing? What have you been up to?
Are you guys buckled in?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Chat, are you buckled in?
What the hell? Put it forward.
What is it?
Oh, that's the Red Corsairs box.
Lords of the Maelstrom, nice.
Dave Raiders really is happening.
Is that your paint job, Dave? Is that your handiwork?
I built a model.
Wait, what?
Built our model.
And because I wanted to try these. This isn't sponsored, by the way. I genuinely saw these and thought they were really interesting. So I was like, I'm going to give them a go. So, yeah.
Guess what?
What?
Snap.
Hey! Oh, my God, I'm a proper hobbyist. This is terrifying.
Wow.
So,
By understanding, Army Paint to give out sponsorships like pretty easily, so maybe we should reach out to them. Maybe we should fuss it out, guys.
I've done the kind of.
That's awesome, Dave.
So it's only with the basic colours, right? So
for new viewers, Dave does not paint or build models ever. Like to date, he's painted. That's his second ever model.
And I didn't build it.
He didn't build it.
I didn't build the first one.
But
he's Seed Studio's #1 customer. I think that's what it is.
Yeah. So I've been doing a bit of that. For those of you who frequent one of our partners, Vanguard Tactics, I've basically been on that for like constantly. I'm going back on to do some more filming with them Thursday and Friday this week. Doing some more work with Jordan, so I'll be on more members content there. And then I've got one more session with them, and then there'll be probably next week on the show. I can do a bit of an announcement for what I'm going to be doing next. But at the moment, I'm just waiting for a few final bits of paperwork to be done, and I can give the community an update on where I will be next. But yeah, career-wise, I am. Let's just say, I will be more entrenched in the hobby than ever before. So Aiden and Will know. I've told them, but yeah, I can tell you all. I'll tell you all more a bit later. So, but I mean, look, guys, I just come mad that I've even bought white primer.
Oh, good Lord.
I'm never going to use it again, probably, and I'm probably going to do this model and then be like, cool, can someone else paint my stuff? Because
you'll definitely be able to get some painting done, Dave. I'll speak you off air about how you can leverage perhaps your new position to.
But anyway, yeah, but I'm good, guys. How are you two?
Go on, Mr. Will. You go first, mate.
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm good. I missed the last couple of weeks. Obviously, you've took a class with some part-time work I've been doing across the Order Element games. Apart from that, though, I haven't had a lot of games. I've played a few practice games, testing things to sort of form opinions, which will unfold as we go. Because I think we have some different opinions on some things, but I wanted to try the various Morty builds and Blightlord bricks and just see how they felt, because obviously they're becoming quite prevalent recently, and I hadn't ran Morty at all since the Codex had come out, so it was nice to put him on the table and see how he fared, how I felt about him. But yeah, we can unpack that, because I know Aiden's also been trying some similar things. I think me and him have come to some different conclusions, so that'll be exciting to unpack and sort of see what our thoughts are on there. But what about yourself here? And obviously you've got some news from what you were saying.
Yeah, so people who've been in the Discord know I've been a bit of a slump with 40k. Not I don't love 40k. It's just I've been having moments where I'm like trying to make a video and I've just been sat there and just nothing happens. I just stare at the screen for like an hour. I've been struggling to sort of find that spark a bit. Balanced data slate didn't help, and then yeah, but I don't want to be negative. I'm not going to be negative anymore because I took the chance to go to 2 RTTs at the weekend just gone.
Nice. Mate.
And I decided to treat myself and take Votan to one of them. Because I've never played with Votan, so I took Votan to one of them to try and like sort of give me a bit of a fresh feel on things. And the second RTT I went to, which was yesterday, I took Death Guard, obviously. Again, as Will said, with the sort of Mortarian, Demon Prince, Blight Lord kind of combo, very elite, very top heavy. It's very not my kind of thing. But obviously for the channel, I wanted to be able to talk about it. So that means we've got to play it and understand it and see how it goes. Did manage to win the RTT, and I went 2 wins and 1 draw with the Votan. And I've kind of got the spark back a bit and it wasn't necessarily because it was a bit of the community as well. Shout out to Oliver who was there with me as well, and Cam as well for yesterday. Basically just reminded me like it's not always about just because sometimes the game's not in the greatest state doesn't mean that you can't still have fun with it when you're with your friends and stuff like that. And it also gave me some ideas to make some videos which I'm going to get on. And as I stated on the Discord as well, and people who maybe aren't part of the Discord, I am going to get battle reports going. I'm committing to it. I have spoken to 2 shop places. One's very local to me around the corner. Second one, I did speak to Element Will while I was there yesterday. And basically, they've offered to sort of give me a private room to basically hire out and basically record in there where it's nice and quiet. And yeah, I'm going to try and get some battle reports up. So for anyone who's interested in battle reports on the channel, it's not going to be TTS battle reports. It's going to be on the table. If anyone watches Scarred Cast, we're basically going to copy his sort of template for doing it, where it's not 3 hours long. It's going to try and be edited down to 40 minutes, sort of end of phase recaps. But I might actually add a bit on the front of people from suggestions from people, as Dave did. You remember in your old what was it, rapid redeployment video we tested out? The top-down shot of deployment that just looked like sped up, where people sit, and then maybe a voiceover. Maybe that at the start is just an extra thing on top of that.
Good idea,
but yeah, mainly it'll be like important roles, so you can all watch me fail 6 in its charges, because I'm real good at that. Also, Dave, fuck you on that stream. So Dave played on a Vanguard Tactics stream, okay? And I watched him, and his dice were vile. Dave, what did that Forge Fiend do on Overwatch to that Ragnar squad?
Yeah, so Ragnar and a group of squad head takers, wasn't it? I think they basically charged the Forge Fiend. I overwatched them when they moved. And I rolled 8 shots from 3d3. And I dart pacted for sustained. And then I rolled 6 sixes, I think, inside that. And then I killed the entire squad, and Ragnar had 3 wounds left from an Overwatch.
No, the best bit, Will, the best bit was he killed most of the squad. And then he was like, okay, moving on. And then someone in chat was like, you forgot Blast, Dave. And he was like, I forgot Blast. And he rolled 2 more 6s, which then 2 more sustained.
In 3 dice, another 2 6s.
And then killed the rest of the squad.
Killed the rest of it. Like, it was so good. And I jokingly said to Jordan when he charged, I was like, are you ready to lose the squad? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, yep, they're all dead.
It was so good. It was so
good.
funny.
Yeah.
So I'm excited.
Funny.
So hopefully we'll obviously show moments of dice like that where it's like big important moments.
When the fun stuff happens.
Yeah, but not just for you. Like, I'm not gonna make you watch me swing with like 10 pox walking to a cultist. Like, But yeah, hopefully that's something that'll get going soon. I've just got to buy a few little bits like green screen and stuff just for some bits and bobs, and just finalize some details and getting those rooms booked. But hoping to get them sort of started. Probably early next month is when I'm best looking at. So I also need to get my holidays refreshed at work, because I might need to take a day off to record some. So yeah, I will try and always be Death Guard on there, obviously. But obviously I might rotate, might not always be me playing Death Guard. I might play Votan against one of my friends who does play Death Guard. But we will try and get a nice variety of Death. It's not just gonna be V. We're gonna keep them competitive lists. But like even like the not meta detachment competitors. But as you can see, I'm already excited. I'm excited again. I'm excited about 40k again. Which is nice. But yeah, anyway, enough about us 3. We've been rambling a lot. How is chat doing, Mr. Dave?
Yeah, I'm just gonna have a little quick check in to see what people have been saying. We have got good to see some of the usual people in. We've had a few people saying that they're in for the first live, which has been good.
Oh, that's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, which is good. Then Nergal Matthew's like, y'all play 40k around here or nah? Well, sometimes Matthew, sometimes we do.
I did see Chris Cameron say he's a brand new member from today, so thank you so much for coming member there, mate. Really appreciate it. Welcome.
That's awesome. Yeah, and Ola 1992, member 14 months playing Marine tier. So he says, hype from Ola, the Warp Hammer Discord.
Great Discord.
Thank you
really
so
good
much,
Discord
Steve.
as well.
Really good Discord.
And awesome to have you as well, mate.
Chuck, good to see you in. Toodalore, Phil Gagnon, Zito, how you doing as well? Zito had a brilliant one. Zito said, a bit early for an April Fool's Day's painting models. So I was like, yeah, fair enough. So yeah, like there's a lot of people in chat. I think everyone's kind of quite keen to hear what we've got to get on with. There's 78 people in, so very quickly, like, comment, subscribe, smash the like button to show that you like what we're talking about, or just click like even if you don't like what we're talking about.
Awesome. So yeah, so myself and Will have taken some, we took this Mortarian sort of Blight Lordy brick list that's been doing well to recent events, and we decided to give it a try. So did you take the sort of standard list, Will? Was it the Mortarian, Demon Prince with the Feel No Pain, Blight Lords, Plague Marines, and then Bloat Drones and some Spawn and stuff?
I did one game with the exact copy paste
Yes.
list, like the exact list, and I mean, I think me and Aiden are very much at the opposite ends of the scale with our opinions on this list. But I think obviously play style is going to be a part of it.
Yeah.
I've tried tweaked versions, and I've tried those particular squads, the 10 Blight Lords, and sort of more in different things, like plugging and playing them into different stuff. I also tried a version of Alban's list, which I think, again...
What is Alban on
I'm not a fan of one of the models in there. Like I said, I'm trying not to blow the lead. But I think that archetype could be interesting. I'd be tempted to try that one a couple more times, but I think the Blight Lords, Morty, and 10 Plague Marines is just not for me at all. Like, obviously, so did you take it to the RTT yesterday?
Yes.
Did you Aiden?
I did, yeah. I took the exact copy paste list with the double Spawn, Poxwalkers, 10-man Marines in a Rhino with all the bells and whistles and the characters, the Blight Lord brick, Morty, Demon Prince, Tallyman, and 3 Bloat Drones. I think that literally it, isn't it? It's very elite.
Yeah, I mean,
not much in there.
I don't know. So, what did you play, Aiden? So, without sort of going through the break, what did you play against? And without being too, how seasoned would you say your opponents were? Because I think sometimes that's definitely a factor when testing a list. Like, if I'm testing a new list and I'm taking a zone number 30s, I'm very cautious against certain players, because certain players you'll get a win that doesn't really translate into a tournament, or you end up helping them a lot more and then the game ends up being close, and it is. Do you know, if that makes sense? So I don't know, like, what go on, you give your opinions on the list then, and I'll, because obviously we're doing this the top list, by the way, so this is the thing to give some context. This list, when we were at Manchester, I think I'm assuming Zito went 4-1. I think me, Zito, and maybe someone else went 4-1 with Death Guard. And we were like, we had our own lists that we were doing. And everyone else that was 4-1 pretty much had the copy-paste unit for unit list that we're going to talk about now, the one that Aiden and we just ran through. So because it was so prevalent with the copy and paste, I think it kind of, we couldn't help but not have it draw our attention, and sort of, are we missing a trick? Is it something we've overlooked? Because previously we had commented that we didn't like the brickiness of it, but then obviously you can't really deny those results, can you?
Yeah.
So how did you find, yesterday, the Nave? Because like I say, I played a couple of practice games and I did make a couple of tweaks, along the way.
Yeah, so let's have a think now. So in terms of opponents, I went against. I will do an event recap later in the week, obviously, for a full sort of breakdown I usually do. But I went against Chaos Demons with. It wasn't Scintillating Legion; it was normal Demonic Incursion, but it still had Lord of Change, Keeper Secret, not Keeper Secret, it's a Lord of Change, Kairos Fate Weaver, Be'lakor, Scarbrand, and then a massive Nurgling Gel, which was actually a real problem. Because obviously, you don't really want to get your. The problem with Demonic Incursion as well is because it has the 6-inch Deep Strike and Charge, and you can't reactive move to that. Plague Marines, if they were ever caught outside that Rhino, Scarbrand could just go boom 6 away, just go kill them. So it was really worrying that. But also, I had to get them out to deal with the Nurgling Jail, because he had 2 full squads of 6 Nurglings as well, which was a lot. That was I'd say that was probably a lesser experienced player on that one. Lovely guy though, lovely fun game. And I definitely, in that one, I'll say that the top heaviness of the list definitely became apparent. It's very hard to screen out 6-inch Deep Strikes when you have no models at all on the list, especially when you're playing. Especially when you're playing Terraform as well. So you can't sit back because you will just lose the game. So you have to go into the middle a bit more. And I definitely didn't like scam the guy at all on 4-up invulnerables. Which again will come into a running theme of this list. But he got a Scarbrand 6 inches away from Mortarion. I was like, oh no. He charged in because again I couldn't screen. I was like, what have I got to screen with? I got nothing. I had to send the Poxwalkers out early to get an early Terraform off and to obviously try and sticky to force him to not just like and also to stop the jail on one side of the board. And then. So he's charged Mortarion with Scarbrand. Scarbrand put 7 wounds on Mortarion, like 7 saves to take, and I made 7 out of 7 4-ups and just scammed the dude completely. just easy, exactly. It was the number 7. So and then obviously that then like sort of cascaded from there. So really funnily is I hit back as you've discovered. Mortarion to anything with an invulnerable, that's a big unit. Is not very good. He's fine at sweeping away invuls on like infantry because you get 15 attacks, you sweep. But against like big things, 5 attacks, he's just not doing it. I think he did like 8. I think like even 6 damage to Scarbrand. Fell back in my turn away from Scarbrand. I was like, and then I move block Scarbrand because he can't fly. I was like, cool. And then their opponent deep striked 6 inches Be'lakor on the other side and charged Morty again and did 3 damage to him because I passed all in one's part 1.
Wow.
It was just like, so Morty just absolutely scammed this guy. But it was still lovely and a very fun game. But definitely like felt the eliteness of it there. And that's not something I'm used to. Obviously, I normally play an MSU style, so I like having lots of multiple units of screening. Like when I played Votan on the Saturday, I had so many units. They're so cheap. I just like screening's not an issue. But in this one, definitely felt it. So that was game 1. Game 2, I went against Eldar, but he was playing Spirit Conclave, which is like the weirdest detachment I have ever played against. So he just had tons of Wraithguard, tons of Wraithblades, tons of Wraith Lords, still had Lycus. And some Warp Spiders. The fellow ended up coming second in the entire event with it, to be fair to him.
Nice.
And that was a bit of, so he'd played Spirit Conclave a lot. I don't think it's very good detachment, because one problem I had though is that he basically, if you kill a Psyker, all the Wraith units get like super oath versus whatever kill. They get +1 to hit and wound versus it for the rest of the game. So Mortarion literally existed, and he walked a Spirit Seer next to him, and the passive mortal wounds did 3 and killed him. And now Morty got oath on him. I was like, oh shit! I passively accidentally triggered that rule. But yeah, Morty actually. The Wraith Guard and the Wraith Lords have a lot of high damage weapons, but they're all like 1 shot each. So the 4-up invulnerables, once again, I just kept the Demon Prince nearby. Kept the Demon Prince nearby. I'd basically use his 3 CP to reroll any fails I got. And then when he tried to follow it with the Wraith Blades, they're only damage 2, so I'm 5. So they're only on 6s, -1 damage it. They basically, they hit me for like 1 or 2 damage, and then I just did the big suck stratagem to heal up again. And just, it took a while for him to get through, but in that game, the Plague Marines were absolutely brutal, because the weird thing about the Wraith units is the slow, like, it's like Death Guard in Eldar. So they lose a lot of movement tricks, which means that the Plague Marines could constantly like hop in and out of things because they're all short range or slow moving. So I was just in and out in that Rhino like a bad boy, you know, coming out, killing an entire unit of Wraith Blades, hopping back in his turn. So there again, it felt pretty good. And then the last game I went against Oliver, who's in the chat, who is a scumbag and had Ultramarines, which was double Repulsor Executioner, triple Ballistus Dreadnought, Calgar, 2 squads of Incursors, 3 squads of JPIs, Wardens of Ultra. So this is the legitimate list. Like, this is a legitimate, like, top tier, really well performing list. And what happened is basically I managed to outplay him by rolling an immense amount of 4-ups. What happened is Mortarion walked into his deployment zone, got Oath of Momented, got shot by 2 Ballistus, 2 Repulsor Executioners, a bunch of Intercessors, a bunch of Incursors, Calgar, and then Calgar charged him, and I took 6 damage. It was great.
Fair play.
And then, Will, I did some damage to Calgar, and then he did it all again next turn, and I still lived.
That's very different from my experience.
I just rolled 4-ups. Apparently, if you just roll 4-ups, nothing bad ever happens. Just roll 4s, dead easy. But there was some, like, again, when you see the recap, obviously there was a bit more tactics to it than that. But it
has to be when you play with that fewer units, because you can't afford to misplay at all, can you? Which is the thing that I I found quite punishing with the list. Like I couldn't.
For the glory of
So-
chaos!
I think Dave would be great on this list. Is my thing. Sorry,
This
run
list
through
is
some
totally
super
my-
chats.
totally
Sorry,
my
I'm just
jam.
reading.
It's from my opponent who, thank you for the £2 super chat, who says, completely outplayed me, scope your skill, lad. You know it, Oliver. It's like, there is skill to this,
You
but,
can have an
but,
ugly shit
but
all the same.
I definitely
yeah.
found that in some of those games, and I'm sure we'll see here, you live and die by the 4-up. You genuinely do. And if you have a turn where Morty goes out and bosses them all, like, it feels really good, and then you can just, like, roll over the game from there, because then Morty went and killed a Ballistus, and then, like, the damage, and then I killed a Repex, and then the damage is even lower, so trying to kill Morty's even harder. You stay in combat with stuff, you can start healing off it. The Demon Prince is, like, literally holding his hand right next to him as well, like, Mr. Morty, I'm here! Again, letting him use that free reroll to get a free 4-up reroll. So that was a legitimate proper list, and, you know, it still did well. Like, there are... I can definitely say it's not my kind of list, even though I did well with it. And I will say, I can see the appeal of it, I can see it doing well, and this is not me being negative, it's just not my playstyle, it's not my kind of thing.
No, it certainly isn't. It's not your playstyle.
Yeah, but I can see why it works, and I can see the potential. And some of the fun things you can do with the reactive move are legitimately cool. Like, against the Eldar, there's a point where I sent the Demon Prince out on his own, without lone up onto the middle point to kill some stuff. He moved to stage Wraith Blade. He moved Wraith Guard to shoot him from 18 inches away. Then he moved his Wraith Blades into the middle ruin. And then I reactive moved back towards the wall, which had a Poxwalkers behind it. So now they were like lone up returned. So it's like things like that, which as you can do. But it's, I mean, what about yourself, Will? Because obviously that was my experience. Sounds like it differed quite a bit from yours.
I think it's completely garbage. I think it's one of the worst lists I've ever run.
Love it.
I mean, I think partly I actually, this is going to be controversial, and I'll stand by because I did say it in the chat. I think that Template Lord Brick is one of the shittest things I've ever played, and I admit it's a play style, and I think its durability is definitely there, but I have no idea what you guys are talking about when you say it's got big damage output. Like, I'm comparing it to the 10 Plague Marines and the Double Battle Cannon Despoiler Knight. It does not kill anything. Like, even if you average the dice out, it doesn't kill. Like, I was talking about it before, like we're talking Aiden was saying about like how he one turn like a load of change with it. So I math that out.
Of chaos!
Average math is you kill half to 2/3 of it. You don't kill all of him. Like, you can spike, and I understand, and I think it's there for the durability, and it's this big anvil, but you're just paying like 700. Like, sorry, because I'm including the Demon Prince that has to follow them about and like just walk about. They don't kill anything in combat. They don't kill anything in shooting. With the CP for the 4 rolls, the hits and wound. I honestly wished I had anything else on the table. Okay. And I actually found it died quicker than what you thought it was going to, because even though it's 3-up saves, even if you just kill half the squad, it just became useless, I found. And the 5-inch move, once it either... I tried it on the board, I tried dropping it in. One of the most underwhelming units I have ever played in 40k. So, that's my honest opinion on the 10 Blight Lords. Separate from that, though, Morty was interesting. I couldn't decide. I had completely... So, first game I played, I put him in the middle because I thought, like usually lives, I thought what I'll do is I was playing against Necrons, I'll put him in the middle, and what will happen is he'll have to put his whole army out to shoot him, and then he'll either bounce or he'll kill him. But I set the rest of the army up so I could respond. But I had other things. So I had the Demon Prince... Put him out turn 2.
Okay.
So the guy popped his army out, soloed Morty, the Demon Prince, and all 3 of my dice out in one turn. Because Morty failed all his 4+ saves, I didn't roll a single 5+, and I was like, what is going on here? So that was a misplay on my part. I did think Morty was going to live durable. So I thought all the shots that were going to hit the Morty died. Then basically what was left, solo the Demon Prince. He only passed 1 of his 4+ saves. And then the Death Shroud, despite standing in cover, being shot with the 2+ AP, only rolled 1s and 2s of their saves. I was like, this is miserable. But admittedly, dice are involved in that. But outside of that, the 10 Blight Lord Terminators, I kept setting them up on things. At the end of the game had gone, so I was like, I just want to line them up on this unit, and I'll spend the CP and we'll roll it and we'll just see what happens. Like a DDA, for example, didn't come close to killing it. Like, I do not get that unit at all, like, in terms of its output. I think, It's very slow, and I think maybe like Nathan Roberts' list, maybe I need to try it in something like that where you got one brick and loads of little stuff all running around it. So I don't know. That one's interesting. And then I tried other games with Morty, and Morty I was interested in. Morty is so sad in combat. This is a complaint. This is like this me mourning about Morty and Blight Lords now. But like Morty versus like a Mauler Fiend, I've never seen this a sadder combat in my life. Like Morty rolled. Well, I'm going to sanitize the story because actually Morty rolled 4 ones to hit out of his 5 dice. I baited the dice as well. I was like, watch this. I bet he'll roll 2. I bet he'll roll a couple of ones here. He rolled 4 ones. But even if he'd have rolled 2 ones,
Never tease the dice.
yeah, never accused the dice. I mean, I put 1 wound through. He rolled his 5+ save, and then in response, nearly picked up Morty with his one effect.
Wow.
So I don't know. I think Morty's cool. I think he's interesting, but I don't like how his smash profile doesn't kill equal sort of like toughness units. And I think the reactive move is cool, but is it worth 380 points? So I don't know. Like, what I took away from it was the Great Unclean ones that I've been playing with in the other list felt way tougher than Morty. Like T13 being a break point versus T12 with a 2+4+ and a 5+ feel no pain. The T13 just felt way bigger, if that makes sense. And he's much cheaper, and he had like more. The Great Unclean one to me had more kind of play with the rest of the list, where it was adding contagion and reducing toughness more. I valued that a lot more than the reactive move, because I found the reactive move after a point, it was a bit annoying because there's either walls in the way, so you couldn't reactive move the stuff you wanted, or stuff just died, so the shoot back thing. I mean, I did one cute shoot back thing actually where someone shot. It was Mauler Fiend, Emperor's Children Mauler Fiend.
Right.
Someone shot the 10 Plague Marines, so I declared the shoot back. They picked up all the Plague Marines but left the 2 characters, and then I check with a couple of the people that made sure I was right. The 2 characters then get to shoot back because they were 1 unit at the time, so they both get to shoot. They don't get the benefit though because they're not attached anymore. But they did solo, like, so the caster and the Putrefy did solo the 6 Noise Marines, which was quite funny. So I could see there was definite value to him, but there was times when I just thought, I don't know. I'm curious more to try Morty a bit more, I think. But the Blight Lords, maybe there's people in chat sort of, telling me different things, but I think the play style is more, I'm just going to stand this big brick here and I'm just going to sort of like live through stuff, which I think is fine, but I think he didn't really feel like there was much agency. It felt like I'm just going to stand here and roll dice, and then the reactive move was interesting, but I don't know. Like I think I need to play it a bit more, but I think the 10 Blight Lord brick for me is just, I don't get what people think it kills. Like, if you start mathing it out into stuff, unless it's like, I don't know, like 5 Space Marines, or even 10 Space Marines, it'll probably do a lot of, like, chip damage to them, like at 2 wounds each. Like, I don't know, it just doesn't roll enough shots that are 1 damage, and a lot of the times, I know there's AP on the bolters, and there's extra strength, the bolters are strength 5, but it's just like the Thousand Suns Terminators, but just not quite as good. And even then, if you shoot your Thousand Suns Terminators into, like, I don't know, like a lot of units, they don't seem to, like, pick them up, if that makes sense. Like, if you've been shot by them before, and they've shot, like, say, your Plague Marines in cover, sometimes it's still, the strength 5 doesn't count for much. I don't know, like, maybe I need to try more practice games. I already had the 4 practice games with different versions, but I really wasn't feeling it at all. So I don't know what your thoughts are, Aiden or Dave, in response to those sort of points.
I'll give you a couple of points back, but first I just wanted to actually just call out for Last Criminal in chat has gave 2 gifted memberships. So Chris Bailey 4016 got 1, and Dan Webb got another. So if you did get those, I think you already have. Say thank you, please, Last Criminal. Thank you for doing that. It's very kind of you. And for you guys, if you go to our homepage on YouTube, check the post tab, and basically in here now you'll be able to go and get
the C perks button they can press, Dave.
The C perks button, yeah, sorry. Click that, and then you'll get access to the Discord. And now that you're in the front door, you're kind of in there. You're in the room. So we won't kick anybody once you've had a membership.
Yep.
And in there you can find basically you'll be able to find the list that we're talking about right now. There's everything from member sections to detachment sections, and just an incredible group of a community. So if you want to get into this depth of this conversation after this chat and talk to everyone else and see what they're playing, please do. You guys are in the door now. The Birchie also, thank you for 199 super chat. Aiden, who got best sportsmanship and best painted? I mean, we know that Ollie wouldn't have gone best sportsman because he would have thrown his blueberries all over the floor.
Ollie was moulding pretty hard. I'm not going to lie. The best sportsman I think I ended up going to, I think it's called the Spanner Award, and it went to the Grey Knights player. He went 0-3, but obviously stuck it out and just had fun with it. So I think he got that one. Best painting I don't think was done at that event. It was done at the other event, and I think it went to a big. I think it was a big Nurglified Chaos Night, which is actually pretty cool. So that's pretty nice. Cool. We got No Step on Snake as well with a $2 super chat. I want to heart the Bright Lord brick, but GW terrain feels bad. I can totally see them struggling more on GW terrain. It's so much more open in comparison, so I can see the movement and the stuff being a lot harder there. So yeah, I completely
on
get it.
UKTC terrain, and obviously, what were you on yesterday?
Lords of War, so it's like hybrid UKTC, slightly changed.
Yeah, it's like UKTC with a twist in it, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
Just moved similar shape buildings, just a little bit jiggled and wiggled.
Yeah, I mean, I think if we come back to Black, I actually quite like the Bloods.
Sorry, there's one more.
Go on.
In chat as well, McRethan has also sent 5 gifted memberships.
Bloody hell, so thank you so much, everybody. You're all being so kind
just wanted to get that one back in. Aiden, you go first on some BLT chat. You just play, and then I'll say what I think about it.
Yeah, I'm curious.
So I was using them a bit differently. I think I basically used them. They had 1 or 2 roles. The main one really wasn't. I wasn't trying to push them forward to do a bunch of damage to them. I will agree with you, Will, that there were definitely points where I had both the Plague Marines, the Black Lord Terminators, and I could only strat one of them. And every single time I put on the Plague Marines, it just gets way more value if crit 5 lethal sustained. But when they don't have that up, they feel not great. I won't lie, they don't feel great. When it's up though, if they're shooting at decent, okay types like infantry, they do shred to pieces. I punched up decently hard. I think you did have. I think Necron vehicles like their absolute worst nightmare because they've got high wound count and an invulnerable, so all that extra AP and stuff means absolutely nothing. Because shooting AP3 blight launchers, because I always take -1 save, like really starts to like chipping, hurting. Again, auto cannons have AP3. The sprayers go into AP3 ignores cover. Really hurts things. But the second you run into an invuln, that obviously becomes problematic. I will say,
even cover though, really, because AP2 a lot of times into cover, a lot of things at the moment have got a 2+ save.
Yeah, well, most of your guns are AP3 though, because you get the +1 from the rule. So outside of the bolters, which are AP2, but like the Reaper cannon, the blight launchers, and the flamers, they're all AP3. Because they get +1 for themselves, the 1 base, and then they get the 1 for the -1 save. Again, but I always run -1 save.
But so like. But then if they're shooting something in cover, that becomes AP2 again.
Yeah, which is that still takes 2 up to 4 up, which is again most things invul anyway. So I quite like them. The Dev Runes are quite nice as well, and the Reaper Auto kind of stuff. But I think the thing I used them mostly for was I would use them to sort of just take a point, whether that's my natural. I wouldn't even use them to take the opponent's natural at some point. And then once they were there, their entire purpose was to just exist on it the entire game. It's just to be like an absolute wall of meat to sit on this objective and require more effort than it's worth, especially if you manage to damage it up. And every time I played the round, that's kind of how it felt. I had my home held, I had my expansion held by Blight Lords, and then towards the end of the game, it would basically be Mortar and Demon Prince chilling on the middle, basically just tanking things the best they can, while the little Plague Marine knobheads, I'll call them, just kept hopping in and out the Rhino from behind it. I actually very rarely pushed my opponent's natural. I don't think the list is very good at pushing. I will say all of my games were within 20 points. I don't think it's a very good teams list at all. Unless you're a defender, maybe, but I think it's also risky, as you said, Will, because again, you have that turn where you just flop your 4-ups on Morty and he falls over instantly. You're in danger town, which is obviously not good for teams. But I can see it work in singles, but it's very weird to like. Again, my last game versus Oliver, I just let him take a side objective and I never touched it once. I just let his combi lieutenant sit on it the entire game. I managed to interrupt it once because I got a lucky consolidator for spawn to match OC on it for 1. But outside of that, he just had it all game. Even though like I was in his deployment zone kills, I could never touch that expansion. I basically just try and pick 3 and just take 2. and then hold on to the middle for a turn or two, and then win off that primary difference. It's a very
But
weird
what
way
if
of
it's a
playing.
mission where you're capped at 2? You know, some of the missions it's that you can only hold 2.
Well, to be fair, I got kind of lucky with it being Purge against Eldari, because that would be one of the ones where and it kind of it's a double-edged sword because Purge requires you to go out and kill things, but I will say, when you only have like 3 super chunky units, Purge is not hard to get kill more. It's actually quite. There was 2 turns where he failed to kill anything because all I did is on the turns where he was going for his kill, I just pulled all my spawn back. I pulled my Poxwalkers back behind the wall, and I was like, cool. So, kill Morty, kill the Demon Prince that's blown up, or kill the 10 light odd brick. Good luck. And he just couldn't kill any of them. And then basically, you just got to pick up. And again, unfortunately, he was playing like MSU Wraithblade Eldar, so he had so many like what are they called, the Warlock Skyrunners, which is like the one wound.
Oh, I know what you mean.
The one 3 wound character on a bike that's not blown up, and it's not a character, even though it is a character. Like I just had to kill that. I had to do 3 wounds to a guy with a 4-up save to get Purge. That's it. It was like the easiest thing. But I would say, yeah, I could see it being hard on stuff like Linchpin, for example, because I lost my home in 2 games. Because again, they get to a point where because you're having to put things onto the middle and stuff, like screening is just. I wish I had I wish I had a Poxwalker unit.
You
One
not
more.
find that the middle just gets exchanged though, and I found so I found the lack of OC was the middle would just sort of like flip backwards and forwards, like or you put something on there, you stand more OC on, or if you are completely fully in the middle, they just unload the whole army into Blight Lord Brick, and then at that point,
Well, that's the
you
thing.
don't actually have that much range to respond.
So I never put my Blatters never went near the middle in any game. They always went to the sides, and then in the middle, what I'd often do is I would have I'd basically turn my spawn into a combi lieutenant. They do because they out OC a combi lieutenant, which is again really funny. So you put 2 on the middle, they step up, you react to me back behind the wall. They don't, they stay there, they stick you at bad news bears for your opponent. So that you do have like a sort of like pseudo thing. You can do it with the Demon Prince as well in some deployments where he can tell on, he can jump backwards behind the wall and be lone upped. And again, he's 3 OC, beats the combi lieutenant. But basically, I would on a go turn where I'm like, all right, I'm going to send it in. I'd have Morty not go on the objective. I'd have Morty push past the objective to whatever he could get to. And Morty and the Demon Prince would basically push down into the opponent's deployment to put pressure on them. And then I would dump the Rhino, Plague Marine spawn all into the middle. And then basically be like, look, right, make your choice now. Shoot the middle, try and deny me the primary, but you got to kill, you got to kill all the Plague Marines. Again, if anything steps near, I can obviously just go and re-embark in that Rhino if I get really worried about it. But then I'll run you down with Demon Prince and Morty. Or you spend the entire turn trying to claim Demon Prince and Morty, and I just hold
but then
the
you've got to keep Morty near the Plague Marines, and the Rhino's got to be there. So if Morty's pushing too far forward, then you
only kill one model though. So I just strung them back. I just strung them all back to it. Again,
but they've got to be the back model's got to be within 8 of the Rhino.
Oh yeah,
isn't it?
pull the Rhino out.
In my head,
the Rhino can drive out because you can. If you don't have to get behind the wall into the Rhino. Basically, re-embarking the Rhino just eats activations. So I'm basically saying if you move near the middle, the Rhino might not be on the wall. The Rhino might be on the middle point in the middle. But if I can react to him and get in it, now you've got to shoot like again. If you're against a Necron player, they've got like 2 DDAs. Now you've got to shoot one of those DDAs into the Rhino to kill it. That means only one of them is going to be able to shoot the Plague Marines. And if I smoke that for free with a Demon Prince, and then you whiff the first DDA, because I had the Demon player shot his Kairos Fate with the flat damage 3 Lord of Change as well, twice at the Rhino, smoked it both times, and he didn't kill it for 4 activations. And that's 4 activations of Plague Marines not getting shot. And it was in the open.
I mean, that's fair enough, but yeah, I mean, it's fair enough. I just don't understand why the opponents wouldn't just put 2 OC on the middle and just go, you're not scoring it.
Well, that's the thing. I push so I make them...
Or wrap the Rhino even, just charge the Rhino with like some cultists. Don't kill it and just leave the Plague Marines just sort of dead.
I push Poxwalkers forward as well to wall it. So it's like a massive push onto the middle. So it's and again, if you know that's coming because you'll see them move up to it, you just don't react to move to embark in the Rhino. I pushed through their natural wall into their big ruin, for example, and things like that. It's just a load of moving parts. But again, I'm okay if they want to shoot the Plague Marines and do all that stuff if they're not shooting Mortarion, because then Mortarion just runs into the deployment zone and just takes the home off them, for example. And then it just goes from there. Because that's what happened versus Eldar. Morty went into the middle. I had the Plague Marines hopping in and out of the transport, and then Morty basically just went on a rampage down into his deployment zone, happened against the Space Marines as well. So I had the point where I got to a point in the game where I had Demon Prince and Mortari in his deployment zone. The Plague Marines stood on the middle objective with Poxwalkers, and he's then having to make a choice for his Rep X's to shoot Morty and the Ballistas to shoot Morty that are going to take his home, or to clear the Plague Marines, and you just can't do both, especially if you start popping -1 damage and things like that. So you just make your opponent make bad choices. But it feels weird, and I feel like a lot of it banks on how much damage Morty can absorb. And if you roll before ups like a bitch,
I mean,
then it's great.
I think this is where the Demon Prince is different. For me, I think that's just a huge waste of outhold your expansion. But admittedly, this obviously you got the results, so this is completely different. Like, I always just put. I can't work out how you do it in this list. I think it needs one more infantry model, which I think is another thing that, like another change I would want to make. I always start the Demon Prince on the line with normally like a solo caster, for example, behind the thing so he's screened. And for turn 1, I put the Poxwalkers are already like on my expansion objective in cover. Turn 1, the Demon Prince just runs up and stands next to them. So the Demon Prince can heroic intervene, and anyone who charges Poxwalkers heroic intervene and shoot them. But to shoot the Poxwalkers, you've got to like come in the middle. Do you know what I mean? So they're screened. So you kind of like the Poxwalkers put the OC on the objective, but the Demon Prince holds it. And then if someone does send something that can kill the Demon Prince and the Poxwalkers, like a real unit, then you've got the Sorcerer there to be the contagion spreader to bring the Blight Lords down. I mean, this is with what I would play like the Alban style list. So I feel like you can hold your expansion objective with just a Demon Prince, and then the Blight Lords can go. That's how I was playing it. So maybe I need to sort of think a bit differently about that, because admittedly Morty was just kind of going out without the Demon Prince being there. Morty and the Demon Prince they were different parts of the board the whole time, and then Morty would be within 12 of the Demon Prince to get his free thing, but even then that was the furthest he went. And sometimes I would use a reactive move, like you said, to move. I would move 5 inches closer to the home field objective to try and cut like a firing lane. But then Morty just not be able to make any saves, and we just die at like 1 DDA and stuff like that. So the other, like, it was a DDA and 3 Triarch. Is it the Triarch Stalkers, the War of the World things?
That is a nightmare list. I think that's just like, I've spoken to people who played the list, and that Necrons is a terrible matchup for it, because again, Morty cannot kill 4-up invulnerable vehicles, especially ones that heal and have a lot of wounds, and Necrons tend to have lower toughness, but they all have a 4-up invulnerable and high wounds, which is just not what Morty wants. So it's a terrible target for him, unfortunately, in that matchup. But I will say, when I played with the Demon Prince, the Marines game, for example, that Demon Prince was lone up in deployment, and then he was never lone up ever again. I stopped caring about lone up, because I don't have the tools to use it. Like, if I get a sneaky reactive move into lone up, great, like it's the Eldar. Part that, I just treated him like a 12, toughness 12, 2-up, 4-up with a 5-up feel no pain, and just bombed it at people half the time. I'm just like, cool, this is going to take a significant amount of effort for you to kill. If I expose it with Morty at the same time, good luck killing both. And maybe there are armies out there that can do it, and if I fail a bunch of 4-ups, I can, but I'll be honest with you, I don't really know how the list works otherwise. I'm just like, make 4-ups. And there is obviously tricks to it.
That's fair. I mean, it sounds like maybe I was playing it wrong, like sort of playing it wrong. So it might just not be my play style at all. But I think for me, I just wasn't impressed with the Bright Lords as a unit. Yeah. Like, they didn't. I understand the durabilities there, but like I say, I think you can hold your expansion just with the Demon Prince, and which is a much like smaller investment in points. But admittedly, the Demon Prince does just stand there at the same time. He's not doing very much. He's not pushing any threat out. I do agree, the Blight Lords, as much as I'm mourning about their shooting, I'm mourning about their shooting compared to the 10 Plague Marines and the double Despoiler Battle Cannon Knight, which to me have been the 2 units that I've used as sort of like a big heavy hitting unit. Or even the Plague Bus, to be honest. The Plague Bus feels like it has more output than the Blight Lords. But I think I definitely felt their durability, though. I was impressed with that. The -1 damage and the Demon Prince giving them cover. That was definitely very impressive. But it hit a point where they would whittle down, and after I'd lost, say, even like 3 or 4 from the squad, I felt like the dwindling output was just sort of like making them like more and more ineffective, to the point where they were just 5-inch moving guys who could kind of easily be out OC. I know they have like a good Overwatch with the 2 Flamers, but like I don't know, just felt like people could always just play around them and hit the point where you didn't actually need to kill the brick. You could just ignore them after you killed like 5 or 6 of them, let's say.
Yeah,
And after that point, they were just.
I think there was a bit to do with terrain as well, because a lot of Lord War has the objective quite a bit behind the objective of the behind terrain, so you can hide a lot of squad there. But quite often, yeah, it's a bit different. I just every game as soon as I got onto an objective, I didn't even bother moving them. If I was worried about someone turning for OC, I might stick the 2 flamers out one end just to buy me a turn of them not taking it. Part of that though, like I was never pushing them forward, never putting extra pressure on. As soon as they landed on that whatever natural objective I chose, they just sat there all game. Which felt weird. I won't lie. It's a lot of points to just sit there on a point, but I feel like that's the entire list is just grab the points and then hold on for dear life on 2-up, 4-ups. Which is,
I think the thing to sort of highlight, I feel like I'm being very negative, but we are talking about this list. Obviously, Aiden's, with these results have shown this list did incredibly well at Manchester on the terrain format, which I tried it on. So I think there's probably, for me, maybe if I really wanted to do it more reps, like you said, maybe try sort of like changing the play style, learn that play style a bit more. So I don't think it's for me to necessarily put the list down. I think for me, I wasn't impressed with the brickiness of it. I think the Blight Lords on the whole, as I'm saying, I'm just a bit underwhelmed by them because I think there's a lot of talk about them, but I think in some of the lists, like Nassim's list, for example, I think if I tried that, I'd probably have a bit more success. I think maybe it's like the one brick and then lots of little bits running around. It might be a bit more my play style.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably something I need to try. Because like I say, the 4, and I did also try Albin's previous list, the one I was enjoying at teams, but I just tried swapping the 10 Plague Marines to 10 Blight Lords. And that it felt all right, but it was just so incredibly slow.
Yeah.
And the damage from the Blight Lords wasn't, like there was times when I tried to shoot the Blight Lords to do what the Plague Marines had done, and it just wasn't the same, and I just found I was sort of always just kind of like on the back foot with them.
Yeah.
So like I think that's play style. But
one
thing I would say, because I feel like Dave, we're talking a lot about.
I will just say one last thing we would begin today. It was refreshing to not have Death Shroud, and I had to worry about 6-inch deep strikes. So not having to worry about that was very nice for once. Go on, Mr. Dave, what's your opinion on these kind of lists?
Yeah, because I wanted to
know what you guys are talking about now.
Well, I was going to say, Dave, I think this list is probably a bit of you. When you used to talk about your Death chosen list, like setting up a big go turn and.
It is, and I think, it's an interesting one. I think I'd play it a bit like Aiden was talking about. I would go. I don't care about over there. What I would probably stage the Blight Lords like behind the middle ruin, ready to jump onto the middle. I wouldn't be putting Morty onto the middle on his own, or using Morty to hold a point. I often use Morty in the first probably 2 turns as a way to generate reactive move if I need it in 2 places, because he's such a big model, like making it easy to kind of get within kind of touching point of a couple of things. And I would have him ready to just jump out and counter smash something if I wanted him to. But I would often have him, and if I was playing this kind of list with a Demon Prince as well, I would be then on my kind of, if my go turn wasn't 2, it would definitely be 3, and I would have set up for that. Then he would be going in alongside it to kind of go out. I totally get what the conversation is around dice and stuff like that, but look, you've seen me delete a 3-bike Custodes unit with a Blight Lord brick. I definitely think that it works best I think it works better in Deathlord's Chosen the moment it's got Vile Vigor attached to it with a LOV, because the moment it's got a 6-inch move and assault, it's like it's a whole new ball game, because it can move and go that kind of that extra distance and still do something afterwards, which is good, and it can often clear then a piece of terrain and get into a gap where even for 10 models it's pretty difficult, but that makes your opponent have to come round. And then you've got things like, if you've got triple heavy blight launcher drone just floating around ready to punish whatever's trying to get space, and then you can use them to kind of screen across the board. But I would kind of go, I want my home, I want the middle, and I want kind of my natural or something like that, and go, cool, you can do whatever you want over there. But at some point you've got to come for the middle, and then when you do, you've got a lot of difficult stuff to chew through, then a Demon Prince and Mortarion to jump on you, and a group of Plague Marines that are going to get an angle and shoot the crap out of you too, and then we'll kind of reset and go again. And then you've got yeah, I mean that's kind of the way I guess I would approach something like this. I wouldn't be playing to try and storm my opponent's deployment zone. I wouldn't be playing to try and to hold all the objectives. I wouldn't be trying to. I'd be very much playing a traditional, I guess, 3-point hold, and using some of the kind of smaller stuff early on to just kind of have to tease out my opponent to come out, and having that reactive move ready to, potentially make that unit. I've said to you guys, like, if I started sticking some Poxwalkers on the middle, that are tailed back so that they're within 6 of Morty, and then my opponent moves too close to the wall, then if I don't go first, they hop back. And if they stay outside of the range of doing that, then they've probably got a shit charge to try and get onto me on the middle. And if they then have to try and shoot them because they're not going to do that, then they've got to stick something out, which then potentially 3 heavy Blight Launcher drones are going to get shots on. And then the next turn, the Blight Lords are out, and they're then on the middle with the option of a reactive move again, with Mortarion sitting behind them. I'd kind of play it in a very condensed nutshell, having not done the event or played that list or on the train you guys played. That would be the way I probably would have approached it.
I will
I
say,
think with what you've described there, Dave, sounded a lot more like focused and thought out than I was. I was just kind of putting things down and just sort of trying to make sense of it while I was going. So I think that's.
Bear in mind, I've
good.
played stuff like this a lot more, right? Like you said, my play style is much more. For the start of the Codex, I played Deathlord's Chosen, Mortarion, Blight Lords, Death Shroud for 5 super majors.
Yeah, I will say on what Dave just said there. Good point. He made a very good point. Is I very rarely put Morty in an objective because I feel like if you put Morty in an objective, you're letting them double dip on value by shooting Morty, because now their shooting is not only clearing the primary, it's also killing Morty. Whereas if Morty's never on the objective, you are basically saying make a choice every single time. It's like kill the objective, basically. Put what you don't care about dying onto the objective, and what you do care about dying off the objectives, and that way they never get the double dip on the value. So it's a very good point there that you made, Dave, because that is one thing I started to realize is just be like Demon Prince and Morty. They're outside of like an initial maybe loan up like a little bit just to like cheese people out. Never went on objectives. They just
the other thing they do is that Morty and the Demon Prince can also just become this, like, you when in the turn you do put them out. Once again, I'm with you on, we've talked about this infinite amount of times. 5 attacks is bullshit.
It's not good.
But Mortarion with his move is very easy to just hop over. Like you look at UKT or something like the 9x3 inch that's next to the big ruin, something like that. He just clears that really easily. He then gets to do some shooting, does go in with charges. He can even multi-charge and type a couple of units. You put your 15 attacks into kind of one of them, clear it off. You then stand there and go, fine, I'm just going to tank the other one, which you're stuck in combat with me in. And Morty's in your, then turn 3 is in your deployment zone, or causing a havoc where he can then very easily, if you don't try and deal with them, jump onto their home objective with 6 OC, or kind of move, then make another charge. And if the Demon Prince is then doing that relatively close by as well, the opponent is not then trying to get to the other objectives that you're on with more of the less important units that aren't quite as powerful. The drones
more
moved
pressure
up
closer to there.
And it's
choose where you want
like
to fight that then.
Exactly, and if you've got the Blight Lords in the middle and they're bringing stuff closer to that, they've always got the threat of Morty just jumping out and then being like, actually, you're going to fight this first. And he is, like I say, he's not does the epic damage of old, but like then when you have like Aiden's experience of, you tank all the 4-ups, if you do roll well on your attacks and stuff, like he's still not anything to joke about. Plus, you're still getting reactive moves or fight on death from his auras. So
he punishes combat really hard as well, because not only like against combat, a lot of combat's damage too, so minus 1 damage is obviously fantastic, but he also has as you've obviously used quite a bit, Dave, fight on death 2 up, so he's guaranteed value pretty much 90% of the time, because if he dies he's going to swing, and then you can auto explode, so you're going to make it even worse. But the worst bit is if combat fails to kill him but drops him low, then you've just set him up perfectly for the Elite Spore Eruption strat. He punishes combat so hard. Also, I did that. A guy moved it, a shooting unit up to Morty, and a reactive move just to within 3 inches of it. I was like, you better kill me, or I'm going to drain you. It was just quite funny. So just in chat very quickly, Peter Johnson saying you guys are sleeping on the LOV and the in the Blight Lord Terminator brick. We have used the Lord of Illyrians.
We've talked about it.
I think if you're going to do the Lord of and the Blight Lord brick, I do feel that's because I I'm full agreement here. The list that we're talking about doesn't have it, and I think the list we took, I spoke to
It
people,
couldn't fit
the
it
people
in
who
this
wrote it, they would love to have it in there, but the list at the point where anything you drop is more impactful to the list than putting the Lord of Virulence in. Like, it's so, you bring with such big bricky units. Like, what do you drop? Like, because like I spent a good evening on this, like sat with the app and touching it out. You have to drop a bloat drone, and as soon as you put the Lord of Virulence in, you've only got 2 bloat drones, and you've made your bricks even bigger. Like, there's no.
You have 11 units already. I cannot
Yeah.
drop that to 10. I'm already struggling.
I mean, after this conversation, I think for me, what I'm taking away is, I think this particular list just isn't my play style.
Yeah, which is
I
fair.
might give the Blight Lords one more try, but go like Nassim's list or Nathan Roberts' list, which is the Blight Lords with the Lord of Virulence in there, and then lots of little stuff all around it. So the Blight Lord bit can just be this, I'm just going to stand in the middle, put your whole army into me. I don't really care. As long as I don't die straight away. If I die over 2 turns, it's the rest of my army playing the game and winning for me. You either have to deal with that and ignore this brick, and it's still going to probably win the game. So you can't just let me hold the middle indefinitely forever. Do you know what I mean? So I think it kind of poses a good question. I can see in my head a lot more how that kind of plays. Whereas when Dave was describing this, I did not see that at all. Like, I didn't play it that way, and just looking at the list, I didn't even thought to play it that way. So I think it's probably a playstyle thing. But Lord of Virulence with the Blight Lords, I think, is with 3 blood drones. I do think there's a sweet spot there, definitely.
Yeah. Very quickly, Phil Gagnon, member 14 months. Thank you very much.
Woo.
Putting the meme
Thanks, Phil.
Mortarian's hammer from Blight Surgery tonight.
Cool.
15 T9 vehicles, including the Plague Bus. Wish me luck. Best of luck,
Yeah.
Phil. Have a blast with
Yeah.
that one. It is a bit of a meme, but hey, got to rock it sometimes. And also Jordan
Have
Davis.
you got a Land Raider Kool-Aiding through a wall?
No, it's all T9. It's all T9 vehicles. It's like 15 T9 vehicles. John Davis,
I love
oh
it.
damn I'm late. It's been a member for a month. Oh damn I'm late. I'll have to rewind. Make sure you rewind. You have to rewind. One thing I will say, the last thing sort of up tonight, and it's, I originally took this list because obviously, as Will said, we took it. We started doing Manchester. We like to understand things. I was going to make a video on the list.
We do.
The how to play like, and originally this video was how to play Death Guard like Custodians because it's a very elite list. It's a very, very elite list. So I've been struggling to make the video because I wasn't happy posting it before I played it, because again we like to actually know what we're talking about here rather than just going, haha, internet man said this. So unfortunately though, after playing this in my 3rd round against Oliver, I was given the most heinous insult I've ever been given, and that is, my god, this feels like just like playing against Necrons. Now you can imagine how much that upset me, but I actually came to the conclusion, I think he's right. It plays far more like Necrons than it does Custodes, because you have your Catan, which is your Mortar and your Demon Prince. You've got your DDAs. I mean, well, DDA's light, obviously. We're not as good as DDAs, but DDA's light with their 3 HBL drones. They're like your DDA kind of things. You have your crappy little scoring pieces. You got your Necron Warrior Brick, which doesn't reanimate, which is like the Blight Lord Terminators. And then you got some Plague Marines, some hard-hitting thing. It plays way more like a Necron Catan stat checky list than it does Custodes, who often like running like loads of Shield Guard and Land Raiders at the moment. It's nothing like Custodes. So unfortunately, the worst thing to come from this, I'm going to have to remake that entire thumbnail for that video to be how to play Death Guard like Necrons, which is vile thought to me. But he was right. I put out a unit of big scary man. You shoot him, you fail to kill him, I win. That was it. That was it. So I was like, oh no, I've actually made a Necron list here. But as Will said, yeah, I mean, sort of to conclude this, I don't think it's either of our playstyle really well. And like I said, I had success with it, but it's not my playstyle. That's not a negative thing. It's never been my playstyle. I've always been an MSU person like that. But it's always good to try things, as me and Will will always try different builds.
Definitely. I mean, for my intent to try this is because I'm very happy with that Knight and Great and Clean ones. This
Yeah, it's great.
if I go to Sheffield, which I may well be doing, Sheffield GT, I will just be taking that list. The reason for me to keep looking at this, I cannot run that list at teams. There's no team in the world that's
For
going
the
to have
glory
Knights,
of
Demons, and
chaos!
Death Guard taken off the table for one list. Like, you're generally going to want Knights or Demons separately, especially because we've got players in our team who do that. So I'm looking for a mono list I can do at teams and trying the other mono builds that are doing well compare them to the mono build, like Albin's previous list, then I was very happy with that. I think that list for me just pushes for like draws and tens. So I was trying to see if there's anything out there that's a bit more kind of like that does the job a bit better. Obviously, Albin does better than that, but Albin, as I think we can all agree, is quite a special player. I am not a special player like Albin. Let's put it that way. But yeah, but I don't know. Is there anything you want to add as well, Dave?
No, I think it's a good discussion. I think, like we always say, in order to talk the talk and have you lot tune in and listen to us about stuff, we have to play the stuff and try it out and be in a position to say, hey, we did this, and look, you already heard, right? Like the same, pretty much same list being taken to an event. Like there's totally different views on it, and ways of doing it. And I think one of the main takeaways you can take from this is your choices are very much tied to your playstyle of how you want to enjoy this army, and even the same list as somebody else is try stuff out. But I think fundamentally we all have a fundamental playstyle. We've said this about ourselves from the beginning. We play Death Guard very differently, and we each like to build lists very differently and play different detachments. So I think that's kind of the main thing to take from it is, kind of it's worth experimenting with stuff to work out why and how things are in the meta with it. But fundamentally, if you've got a playstyle you enjoy, go with it.
100%, 100%. And one last super chat from the Birchie again. 199, thank you so much, mate. Give your opponent choices, hope they choose wrong. That is genuinely, that is one of the ways to win 40k, because if both players are playing a perfect game, then nothing's going to happen. Games can be won not on good plays, but instead on opponents' mistakes and exploiting them and noticing them. So,
I mean, to be fair, that might be another issue with this. So when we play practice games at Stonehammer with our team, most of us, there's a couple of us who don't, but when we play those players, we do just play it more like a tournament, and we talk afterwards. We'll point things out in the middle of the games. With the reactive move with Morty, for example, anytime anytime be triggered, we talk it through. But well, he could go here and he could do this. So if you do that, that'll happen. Which you wouldn't do in a tournament, which might also have nullified
you will
the value of those
I have reactive
moves
move
in that moment.
Yeah, you will say I can reactive move, but you won't tell them all the things
so I'm giving more information.
Yeah, there is
than you would normally.
Yeah, that is 100% true.
It's a good point. And I think one of the things, just on the Birchie's comment, is one of the games I was playing against Steve at Vanguard was saying the same thing. He was like, I think it was in the Custodes DLC game, and he was like, this is a problem and this is a problem. I was like, it's like, give your opponent big problems and go, save it you make the choices now. And that's the best thing to do, is just kind of give people, be an annoying opponent in a nice way possible.
It definitely works. So yeah, I think that's going to bring us to the end of tonight's episode. So again, I will be doing an event recap for this tournament later in the week. Let me know if you want me to do a Votan one as well. I can do a Votan one. Obviously, we are not a Votan channel, but if you guys are interested in how I played Votan, because it was such a different play style of tons of MSU, tons of move blocking stuff, and just that kind of playstyle that I love. I had a blast with it. But again, we're not a Voter channel, so I won't put up if people aren't interested. But if you are, I will 100% be doing the Death Guard one to talk about it. So wait for that later in the week.
Well, talking of different factions as well, me and Dave, Dave more than me, to be fair, but I have a collection. Dave's been on his CSM journey. Quickly plug some of that, Dave, because obviously you've been doing a lot of CSM content in the background, haven't you?
Oh, just but we're here to talk about Death Guard. But very, very quickly, if you head over to search Death Guard Dave on YouTube, or I've basically done some CSM, particularly Iron Warriors focused content, because I'm still super hoping Percy's about to re-emerge from the warp. But Will and I had a really good chat last week just about CSM in general, and kind of like the units and playstyle and what we liked about it, which was really, really good fun. So you go over there and check out that chat. Awesome. And I'm just basically kind of practicing looking at an army from a different way, also to get slightly new perspective on Death Guard, the way I'm playing it. And it's quite good. I played Jordan for, I think it was like my third or fourth game with CSM on Vanguard Tactics Live last week. That's free to watch. And next week I think I'll be back on there playing another one. So it's been good. Really enjoying having a look at it, and it's nice to get, like you say, a bit of a perspective.
So I will. Look forward to that. Go check out Dave's channel. Look forward to the event recap. I will be getting that how to play Death Guard, like, I'm sorry, it's going to be Necrons now because it definitely doesn't feel like Custodians to me. It will be Necrons now. Video.
Necrons.
I have got another great suggestion that was done by Discord, which I'm working on, which is just a video all about reserves, strategic reserves, why we use them, how to use them, why I think they're really important to the game. So that'll be more general as well, so you can even share it with your non-Death Guard friends, but obviously I will try and tailor it to Death Guard specifics, you know, with Death Shroud, etc. like that. Make a 6-inch deep strike, roll 6 on a dice. Real hard, that one. Apparently, no, actually, it is for me.
You want to learn how to roll dice?
Aiden's special video on how to
literally, it's just me raging for 30 minutes how to roll a 6, and I'll do it as an example, and I'll nail every single one on the test.
Aiden, just clip any game that I play.
Oh yeah. I'm just gonna start bringing you to events to roll my charge dice. It's fine, don't worry about it. And then I might do a little video just to how to deal with burnout, because obviously that's been something I was experiencing like very recently. And I think even like Dave might have an input on that, because obviously he's got his Iron Warriors now. I've got my Votan now, and I think it does help. It helps keep the longevity of the hobby enjoyable. And Will, obviously you have separate armies as well. And I think every so often we need to whip out those armies. Maybe myself a little bit more. Turns out playing one army for 7 years and never trying anything else is probably not great for your mental. But yeah, we're gonna leave it there for tonight. Thank you everybody for tuning in again. And yeah, I'll pass it over to Mr. Will, Mr. Dave, to say goodbye. So, Mr. Dave.
Yep. Good evening, everybody. Thank you very much for joining me. I had 118 people watching tonight, so thanks very much. Like, comment, subscribe, do support the channel. Super quickly. If you want to become a member, click the join button. Starts at just $2.99 a month, less than a cup of coffee. Gets you into our Discord, where there's just almost 1,600 other amazing people. We're at 15,500 subscribers now. Still continuing to grow, so thank you for all your support. If you do want to watch more battle reports, head over to Vanguard Tactics, one of our
keep
friends.
you around this channel as well.
Yeah, keep you on this channel as well for some stuff that's going on. Will talked about Element Games earlier. There's a link in the description. Please head over there to pick up any models. Does help give a little kickback to the channel, which is really good. Baron of Dice, if you're in the US, please go to Baron of Dice to get official DRP styled and designed dice. If you're in Europe, please go to drpstore.com, where you can get them sent by me directly to you. It's cheaper than the shipping, which costs pretty much the same as the dice themselves coming out of the US, which is really good. You can also get merchandise, objective markers, other things to support the channel. Saltire Games, also in the description, long-time supporter of the channel, make DRP branded gaming support elements like measuring packs, affliction tokens, really great set in there. And have I missed anybody? I think that's pretty good.
You don't even need a script anymore,
as well.
Sorry, Will?
Did the clothing as well?
Yeah, I just said on DRP store there's merchandise on there too. So if you want to get head on over there to pick it up.
He doesn't even need the script anymore, Will. He's done so well. He doesn't even need the script anymore.
Practice.
Do you know what? One thing to add in this episode, obviously we've had a lot of backwards and forwards, but get involved in the conversation, guys. Leave a comment. What's your opinion on the 10 Blight Lord brick? What's your opinion on Morty? Do you think that, you know, we've missed something, or there's maybe a tactic that we haven't talked about, or a particular list build that hasn't, you know, come to prevalence yet that you think could be there? Leave a comment, like and subscribe. Let us know your thoughts.
Yeah, and on that note, guys, we will love yous and leave yous there. So thank you for tuning in. Enjoy the rest of your evening, day, morning, afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Stay rotten, take care, and we'll catch you all on the next one. Stay rotten. Bye-bye. Take care, guys.
Buffering.
In the void, where the warp winds howl, a fleet once noble, now destined to fall. Great wardens stir, betrayal takes shape, Typhon's whispers, sealing their fate. Navigators lost to the shadowed lie, a fleet adrift beneath a darkened sky. The warp's cruel grasp, unyielding and tight, chaos awaits in the endless night. Whispers of power, a pestilent tide, Mortarian's pride, with nowhere to hide. The destroyer plague, a grim reward, Nurgle's laughter echoes aboard. Bound by decay, they rise in his name. The death god transformed,